Do you know those moments when you can't believe what you're seeing? Well, today's videos show shameless thieves being caught in the act, trying to get ahead and failing hard. There's a bit of everything, from clumsy attempts to unbelievable situations that are actually funny, and that's exactly what you're going to see here today. So drop your like, click the subscribe button down below, and let's go. A curious case drew attention in Florida involving a social media content creator. The young woman, known online as Morena Valls, was detained after being accused of trying to cheat the self-checkout system at a store. According to the police, she allegedly used the barcode of a cheaper product to pay for higher value items, taking home 16 products that together totaled almost $300. Security cameras caught the whole action, and the video released by authorities clearly shows how she allegedly pulled off the trick. The detail that drew even more attention is that a short time earlier, she had already been accused of committing a similar theft at the same retail chain, this time with an even greater loss. Despite the accusations, Morena pleaded not guilty in both cases. Her identification was possible after the police shared a photo asking the public for help. An anonymous tipster recognized her as the same young woman who appears in videos on her TikTok profile, where she usually shares everyday moments. To make the situation even more complicated, investigators claim that she even posted a video showing the products acquired in that same purchase at the store, even wearing the same outfit that appears in the camera footage. Shortly after, the video was deleted, and her account ended up becoming private. At the time, she had around 300,000 followers, a number that kept growing, surpassing 420,000 even after the controversies. A tense moment marked a live broadcast when reporter Beatrice Casadei was surprised by a robber seconds before going on air. The images show the criminal on a bicycle quickly approaching and snatching the cell phone from the journalist's hands as she was preparing to report live from Marginal Pinheiros in front of the Provisional Detention Center in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Despite the scare, Beatrice was not injured and immediately went to the police station to file the incident report. Team colleagues who were nearby reported that they had already noticed the suspicious presence of two men circling the area, watching the press professionals. Shortly after, they returned and took advantage of the reporter's distraction to act. The boldness of the crime drew attention because it happened in front of a prison facility, a place that, in theory, should convey a greater sense of security. However, as the journalists themselves pointed out, there was no policing outside at the time of the attack. The device taken was not just a material good, but an essential work tool which held important data, contacts, and information. The robber's face was captured by the cameras, and the images are already in the hands of the police, who are seeking to locate the perpetrator. The team emphasized that, despite the trauma, Beatrice is doing well and remains firm in her professional activity. A group of content creators decided to face an increasingly common problem in an unusual way: the so-called porch pirates, thieves who steal packages left at house doors. Instead of simply lamenting the loss, they set up a real operation, spreading fake boxes with hidden trackers at different addresses. The plan worked. One of the boxes was taken by a woman, and the group managed to track the package to her house. To make sure, one of the members knocked on the door disguised as a Mormon missionary, but the biggest surprise would come later. As a form of creative revenge, they took photos of several items in the suspect's yard, a bicycle, Christmas decorations, a doormat, among others, and posted them all on social media as if they were being offered for free. The trolling quickly took on unexpected proportions. Neighbors and strangers began to show up to take the items listed in the post. One man left happy with the bicycle, another person grabbed decorations, and even the doormat at the entrance disappeared. Meanwhile, the homeowner seemed not to realize that her belongings were being taken one by one. In the end, the content creators left a note stuck to the suspect's door: "Dear package thief, your bicycle, decorations, and doormat are no longer yours. Merry Christmas." The episode generated controversy on social media. Some users applauded the creative revenge against the criminal, while others raised questions about the limits of vigilante justice. The fact is that in that neighborhood, porch pirates will certainly think twice before acting again. A violent robbery at a pizzeria in Hollywood ended unexpectedly when the owner of a neighboring restaurant chased and tackled the assailant on the busy Hollywood Boulevard sidewalk. The criminal had surprised a customer and stolen his belongings, but failed to escape thanks to the merchant's quick action. The commotion got back up when the restaurant owner's girlfriend stepped in, helping restrain the suspect and recover the stolen items. Other people also helped hold down the thief, who struggled to break free. The most surprising detail was the assailant's identity. It was someone who had been helped by the merchant himself for months, receiving food and water whenever he showed up. The benefactor's disappointment was enormous upon discovering that the one he had been helping was the same who now attacked innocents. The case moved on to the courts, but took an even more absurd turn. On the day of the hearing, both the victim and the merchant who had restrained the robber were informed that the suspect had disappeared within the Los Angeles prison system, with no clear explanation of how custody control was lost. Despite the indignation over the authorities' failure, the episode brought a positive side: the bond between the victim and the merchant, who now share a friendship forged amid the chaos. In the city of Timon, in the state of Maranhão, Brazil, the police arrested Francisco Nuravan, accused of committing robberies on the city's streets. The arrest happened during a television coverage that quickly went viral due to the unusual tone of the situation. Upon being detained, Francisco tried to stick to the version that it was his first time committing crimes, but ended up starring in a curious scene. On camera, he claimed he wasn't alone, and even tried to blame the reporter interviewing him. With irony, he said the journalist was his accomplice.
Sim, eu tava contigo. Deixa de bom. Eu te fiz uma pergunta, eu tava contigo.
Called a greasy soul by the journalists, Francisco gained instant fame for his cheeky demeanor and answers that convinced no one. Despite trying to dodge and share responsibility, he did not escape jail, where he will answer for the robberies committed. The case, aired on local TV, became one of the most talked about episodes in Maranhão television, mixing a police bust with unintentional humor in the middle of the broadcast. In England, a case drew attention for how quickly the police managed to capture a criminal. A man on a motorcycle approached a woman, stole her cell phone, and tried to flee through the streets. What he didn't imagine is that the police were watching everything and on his tail. With the exact location in hand, the police deployed a helicopter to follow the suspect from above, monitoring his every move as he tried to escape on his bike. The images showed the chase from above, while patrol cars were directed to surround the thief. The escape attempt did not last long. The man was arrested red-handed and taken to the station. Two opportunistic women starred in a situation that drew attention for the audacity and the carelessness of people leaving the building. They were sitting at the door of an apartment building and took advantage of the moment when two people left the place to hold the door before it closed and locked. With that action, they managed to enter the building without authorization, gaining improper access to the interior. Inside the building, the two began to rummage through the mailboxes, apparently looking for valuables they could take. The situation showed how moments of carelessness can be quickly exploited by individuals intending to commit thefts. Fortunately, the women's attempt did not result in loss. They found nothing of value and ended up leaving the building without completing any theft. Although there were no material damages, the episode highlights the vulnerability that open or poorly monitored doors can offer to opportunists, showing the importance of simple security measures, such as keeping extra attention at building entrances. In Parque das Flores in the Sapopemba district in the eastern zone of Sao Paulo, Brazil, a situation of extreme risk and even hard to believe drew residents' attention and was captured by security cameras installed in the region. A man wearing a white shirt was heading to work when he was approached by an armed motorcyclist who tried to rob him. In an unexpected move, the victim managed to snatch the weapon from the criminal's hand and took off running through the neighborhood streets, starting an intense and dangerous chase. The motorcyclist, in desperation, also charged after the victim, generating tense moments and stumbles. During the flight, both fell at different points on the steep slope, but surprisingly no shot was fired. The man in the white shirt kept the weapon in his hands, but did not point it at the robber. The chase felt cinematic, with back and forth through the neighborhood streets until they crossed paths again. final encounter, the situation was resolved peacefully. The victim talked to the robber, kept the weapon under control, and in an unexpected gesture, handed the revolver back to the criminal before walking away. The criminal then left without continuing the robbery. Security experts emphasize that, despite the unusual outcome, reacting to robberies is extremely dangerous and never recommended. The decision to try to recover belongings or confront an armed criminal can put the victim's life at risk, regardless of courage or ability. That being so, never react to a robbery. In England, a robbery at a store drew attention for the quick and courageous reaction of an employee who managed to prevent two criminals armed with machetes from escaping. The incident occurred when the suspects entered the establishment, threatening the staff and trying to take items from the store. Security cameras recorded the moment when one of the assailants demanded money and threatened the worker with a machete, while another collected products from the shelves. Showing presence of mind, the employee ran from the counter, knocked 2 bottles of wine onto the floor to disorient the criminals, and managed to shut the door, trapping them inside the store. A passerby who was walking by helped hold the door, preventing the suspect from getting out. During the commotion, another man in the establishment claimed to be innocent and asked to be let out, but ended up being escorted by the main suspect, who tried to use him as a fake hostage to force the door open. The criminal even tried to break the glass to escape, but community intervention prevented his exit. Eventually, the suspects, including the one who claimed to be a hostage, escaped through the store's bathroom before the full police arrivals. The employee's quick action and the courage of the people there prevented the robbery from succeeding and avoided serious injuries. Later, the police arrested a 17-year-old suspected of involvement in the crime, who was released on bail while investigations continue. The shop owner stressed that the situation was extremely frightening, but that fortunately no one was hurt. What a story, huh? Security cameras at a variety store in Goiânia, Brazil recorded the moment when a woman stole a product and hid it under her dress. In the footage, you can see the suspect walking calmly through the establishment while holding a box. Then she discreetly places the object under her clothing, adjusts it with her hands to make sure it is not visible, and keeps walking as if nothing had happened. The case occurred at a unit located in the Setor Campinas neighborhood, a very busy area of the capital of Goiás state, known for its intense commerce. The footage was forwarded to the Central de Flagrantes of the Civil Police of Goiás, responsible for analyzing the occurrence. Despite the images having captured the entire action, the suspect has not yet been identified. She was wearing a mask at the time of the crime, which makes facial recognition and the progress of the investigation difficult. The video drew attention for showing how naturally the crime was committed in broad daylight and in an area with heavy foot traffic. In May of 2025, an incident in the Paris metro drew attention and was recorded on video. Outraged passengers managed to restrain a woman who was trying to steal a man's wallet, leading to her arrest. This case exemplifies what is known as a pickpocket, someone who acts stealthily to steal victims' belongings, often without them noticing at the moment. The episode highlights a common tactic of these criminals, acting in groups. While one member creates distractions, another approaches the victim to carry out the theft. In the metro, especially at rush hours, this practice is frequent, and tourists are preferred targets for being less aware of their surroundings and distracted by the sights. The swift intervention of passengers prevented the suspect from escaping. The situation also serves as a warning about the large number of pickpockets in Paris, which has suffered a lot from this recently. To protect yourself, it's important to stay constantly alert, not keep valuables in open pockets or easily accessible bags, and prefer backpacks or bags that can be zipped shut. In addition, watch out for any suspicious distraction, especially in groups of people, whether men or women, which may be a strategy for theft. A movie-worthy incident happened in a butcher shop and quickly drew attention on social media. It was an ordinary afternoon, with customers shopping and employees serving as usual, until a hooded man entered armed with a revolver, pointing it at the register and threatening the clerk. However, he did not count on the presence of an older man in a cowboy hat who watched everything with attentive eyes. While the criminal tried to intimidate everyone and bark orders, a customer appeared to pay for her purchases, and that ended up being the perfect distraction. Seizing the moment, the man in the hat hat acted quickly and precisely. He calmly took off his glasses, set them on the counter, and grabbed the robber from behind. On impact, the revolver fell to the floor, leaving the criminal vulnerable. An employee joined in and helped restrain the assailant, who even tried to escape but failed. The cashier called the police right away, who arrived shortly after and arrested the thief, identified as Jose Gabriel, 21 years old, who will now answer in court for the crime. The video recorded by security cameras spread quickly, turning the man in the hat into a true local hero. Despite the impressive outcome, it's important to stress reacting to a robbery is extremely dangerous and not recommended.